Coming up on the late night review, I'm going to review American Ninja, a movie that I have a ton of nostalgia for. I grew up watching. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and it was such an inspiration to me. Really got me involved more in watching ninja movies. It started before this, though, with The Octagon, another one of my all-time favorites with Chuck Norris. American Ninja is a classic, and that's coming up on the late night review. American Ninja is one of my all-time favorite movies, and it has an interesting cast too, a very good cast, I think. Michael Dudikoff, I grew up watching his movies over and over again. Steve James, seen a ton of his stuff, and this is a classic movie to me. It's really still one of my favorite movies. This is an interesting cast. Judy Aronson is in here. She was in Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. And I think that's one of the best Friday the 13th movies ever. Uh, it's one of the stronger movies in the Friday the 13th franchise. And it's always been one of my favorites, along with 3, 6, 7. And it's really a good entry into that franchise. There's a guy in here, John LaMotta. He plays Sergeant Ronaldo. He's kind of a corrupt sergeant, and all my reviews are spoiler reviews, or at least most of the time, because they're about movies I have nostalgia for and they've been out for years or decades. But yeah, Sergeant Ronaldo is played by John LaMotta, and on IMDb, it said that he is the nephew. He passed away in 2014, I believe, but he was the nephew of the legendary boxing champion Jake LaMotta. And I've seen a ton of videos on Jake LaMotta. Grew up watching him fight, the videos, and just in terms of my training, those who've seen the channel numerous times and watched my videos, I come from a family of fighters, and I'm not a pro fighter myself, but I grew up training, especially in my early 20s. I took it serious, but I remember watching videos of great fighters like Marciano, Ali, Dempsey, Tunney, LaMotta, Duran, Leonard, Hagler, Hearns, and all those guys, and watch the Raging Bull over and over again. But yeah, they said John LaMotta is the nephew of Jake LaMotta, and he was an amateur boxer himself before he got into acting. But yeah, John LaMotta, the nephew of Jake LaMotta, I didn't know that, and until I did a little bit of background on him for this video. And Tadashi Yamashita, he's a Black Star Ninja in here. He plays the evil ninja. He's at the top. He's not the number one organized crime villain in here, but he's one of them. And he plays the Black Star Ninja, the guy that trains all the other ninjas to be as deadly as possible. And he was in the Octagon with Chuck Norris. I remember him in there with Chuck Norris. I think he was in Jim Cotta. There's a movie called Jim Cotta that I grew up watching. I haven't seen that in decades, but I grew up watching that with the former Olympic champion, I believe, was the star of that film. But yeah, Tadashi Yamashita, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It's been so long since I looked up his name. I've seen American Ninja over and over and over again when I was a kid, and I used to know almost all their names. I definitely remember Michael Dudikoff and Steve James, and just they were a perfect match in here. Michael Dudikoff was perfect for the American Ninja. Steve James was perfect for his friend. They were kind of, at the beginning of the movie, they fought because of a misunderstanding, and then later they became friends. The American Ninja, Michael Dudikoff, showed him how skilled he really was. But he held back. He didn't want to hurt Curtis Jackson. That's who Steve James plays in American Ninja, and really a good character. He felt like he's sticking up for his buddies. He thought that Joe Armstrong, played by Michael Dudikoff, was getting everyone into unnecessary trouble because they thought he was trying to be a hero. He went overboard, and some people got killed. Some good guys got killed, even though Michael Dudikoff saved Judy Aronson's character, Patricia, and did a good job, but some people got killed. He fought against the ninjas, showed how tough he really was, but they thought he went overboard, kind of being a hero and putting people in unnecessary danger. So they got into a fight, but it wasn't a big fight. No one got seriously hurt. The American Ninja held back. They became friends and trained together, worked out together, and improved and went out there and kicked some bad guys' butts. But it's a good movie. It's a classic movie to me. I like it a lot. Yeah, I mean it's a movie that's been out for a long time. It's fun. I think it's, even though it's been out for a long time, and it's kind of cheesy. Some of the action scenes are not very realistic at all. Some of the fighting scenes are not very realistic, but I have fun with it. Really have fun with this movie. I think that it's well done for an action movie, and I love 80s action, and I like the cheese. I think it's charming. And this is not only one of my favorite movies of Michael Dudikoff, but it's one of my favorite action movies of all time. I like it. I like it a lot. Part two is awesome. I've seen one, two, three, and four. I never seen part five. In all these years going by, I never seen part five, but I've seen four of them. And I think they only made five, but I'm not sure. But I've seen one, two, three, and four, and enjoyed them all. Thought they were fun, interesting movies. Like I said, not very realistic, but they're fun and interesting. And it's good guy against villain, hero versus villain, and I like that. The story in here is pretty decent. It's a pretty good story. With a lot of these movies, it's not really extremely deep. It's not very too intricate or complicated. It's pretty simple formula, simple action. Good guy against bad guy. Bad guys do bad things. The good guy goes and avenges the innocent, seeks justice. So I like movies like that. I really do. And this is right up there with some of my favorite movies of all time. And I've seen it over and over again. And not too long ago, I did watch it from start to finish. I did not watch it right before this review, so I forgot a few of the names of the actors in here. But Michael Dudikoff, Steve James, gosh, I remember them. Steve James, before I get to Michael Dudikoff, Steve James, I used to watch him all the time. He was in another Chuck Norris movie, or he was in a Chuck Norris movie called The Hero and the Terror. It's one of my favorite Chuck Norris movies. And he was in Delta Force. He was also in Delta Force. That just came back to me now. I remember him in Avenging Force. I believe he was in a movie called Avenging Force with Michael Dudikoff again. And that was a fun movie, interesting movie. Again, not super realistic, but it might have been a little bit more realistic than some of the other films. It was a pretty well done movie, fun movie. There's characters in there played by character actors that you've probably seen in other films. If you've seen a lot of 80s movies, that was a good movie. In the 1980s, Michael Dudikoff was the American Ninja. I mean, he was just, it's a little hard to explain unless you were there, but after I saw this movie, American Ninja, I just couldn't wait to see what else he was going to be in. I loved American Ninja 2 when that came out. Avenging Force was a great movie to me. I mean, if you're not into this type of genre, if you're not into this action martial arts genre, then you're not going to consider it a great movie. And even if you are, you might look at it as, it's just kind of low budget. But I really liked Avenging Force. I really liked Michael Dudikoff's movies. I think he could have been one of the great action movie stars if he would have gotten more roles like American Ninja and American Ninja 2, and then obviously Avenging Force. Avenging Force and Platoon Leader, those were two of my favorite movies. Really, really, really good movies to me. I have a lot of nostalgia for them. Platoon Leader was a great movie, I think. And it was sad. It was dramatic. It was sad. You know, think like Hamburger Hill, Platoon, slash action, slash, uh, Michael Dudikoff, the American Ninja. Every time he made a new movie, I always thought, that's American Ninja. I want to see what he's doing next. And the way his expressions were, he would look around and kind of act like a ninja, even when he wasn't playing a ninja. Just had that style about him. I always appreciated Michael Dudikoff. And this American Ninja movie is really, really awesome. An intricate part of my childhood and very inspirational. This movie is a fast pace, like I was saying. It's not slow at all. The music score I like. It's inspirational. And the thing I like about this movie and a lot of other movies in the 80s is you feel healthy. You feel good. There's not so much negativity like a lot of modern movies nowadays. I'll watch them. I get depressed for some reason. And I think one of the reasons is the everything looks kind of grayish, and the characters kind of look down. They kind of they're kind of they lack energy, but not all of them. There's some movies that hit the mark and the characters have energy. But usually in the 80s, the movies, the characters look more healthy, they look stronger. They were pure. There was an innocence about these movies and the characters back then that are a good influence. And I always like movies about good guys going after bad guys, seeking justice, doing the right thing. So it's inspirational. It's inspirational and motivational to work out. But it's enjoyable. I mean, if you like action, and if you like 80s action in particular, I think you'll enjoy this one. Certain parts of this movie, some of it is a little bit realistic, but most of it's not, just like a lot of these movies. But it's fun. It's fun action. And if you like movies that are fun and fast paced and have martial arts, ninjutsu, ninjutsu, I think you'll like this movie, unless you're into just, more just fact-based movies, very realistic and gritty. It might not be your type. You might just think, well, it's cheesy. I'm going to go do something else. But gee, to sit, relax, have some snacks, popcorn or candy or whatever you eat, hopefully healthier food. I've always never had a very good diet. I'm struggling with it. But, if you want to just have fun, watch something kind of cheesy but fast paced and enjoy your night or day or whatever, the late night, I highly recommend American Ninja. I give it a thumbs way up. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and I think you'll like it, especially if you're into these types of movies. This has been the Late Night Review, and have a good night.